Yo, yeah, back with another video. Hope everybody is doing well. And the topic of today is going to be stress and like chronic stress, chronic constant stress, and appearance and physical health and all things related. So, I don't got a mic. I don't got my mic. I left it upstairs. I'm too lazy to get it, and I really don't think it matters. I mean, there's a shitty little Apple mic, anyways, but yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about that. And to start, I've noticed that like in recent years in college, I'm gonna start talking about like stress in general, right? Because like I would say like I always kind of had, I was always like a pretty stressed out person, and I don't know. I think I get that from my parents, because they're kind of like stressed out people, not like super stressed out, but like they work fucking difficult jobs, especially my father, high intense, whatever. Anyways, but yeah, I think like I always kind of been stressed out, even like in high school, and I'm kind of like as I gotten older, that chronic stress and that alert, like I've noticed that is so much more prominent now. Like I'm in my early 20s, and it could be a bunch of different things like confusion. Now I'm like, this is the transition from being a child to growing up and being an adult and having responsibilities and shit. So it could be like it's a bunch of different factors of why like I would increase my stress over time. But I think like I can't really name like the biggest reason why, but I don't know. I just think it's just like pressure, self pressure. Now you got college and that shit costs mad fucking money, and then it's like you can't just like be lazy and things are your responsibility. And I've noticed that like the especially during the summers and in school, like these past couple years, like at the beginning of college it wasn't that bad because I still wasn't caring that much, but the end of college, oh my gosh, junior year, the summer going into junior year, and the junior year, and the summer going to senior year, and senior year too. But senior year, it's kind of gotten a little bit better. I've been able to deal with it, but it's still definitely there. And this chronic stress, although I've like stressed before in my life, I never like I never really knew how to deal with chronic stress like that. Like back then I kind of just had like a couple like high school assignments, and it didn't really fucking matter. But shit matters way more now, and I think that like relationships matter more, and then you know there's just a million, your brain just runs a million miles per hour per minute. And yeah, I guess shit just like gets like more confusing and more complicated, and you're in the stage, or at least I'm in the stage, or this time of your life, like just figuring it all out. And that's the beautiful part, is figuring it all out. But sometimes it's hard to see that really is the beautiful part. But with this chronic stress, I can feel it in my body. Like I want to explain like that the chronic stress, and obviously I'm not the only person who goes through chronic stress. So it's like maybe you do, or somebody does, or whatever the fuck, and you can explain it better than I do. But I don't know. It's just like wake up, and then like how I describe it in like a chronological order in a day is to like wake up, and then you get like a minute of just bliss where you like you're remembering that you're like alive in a person. And then once you remember and you actually have to get up, it's like, oh my gosh. And I could feel it. It feels like a drug. Like stress feels like a drug. I feel it like piercing all throughout my body. My energy is like way higher, heart rate, I'm way more alert. And yeah, it's just, I mean, that's what it does. I'm not a scientist, like the science behind it. I don't even have to tell you. But yeah, um I've just like noticed that I can feel it. It really does feel like a drug. Maybe it's just placebo, and I'm being a fucking retard right now. Well, I can't say that, but I'm being stupid right now. No, I'm being a retard right now. But that really is what it feels like, and that like it kind of sucks. And as I said, for the past couple of years, like I kind of been dealing with this chronic stress, and as a result of that, like I've noticed so many aspects of my life that aren't just mental have just decreased, like especially like my physical health. And I could do everything right, and stress would just like chronic stress would really just fuck everything up, you know? Because not only does it just like stress you the fuck out and you have all this cortisol and adrenaline for absolutely no reason. Maybe not absolutely, but for, you shouldn't have it all the time, but it fucks with your sleep. And like, I remember like when I get super chronic stress and um like I get nightmares, so it's like I would go through periods of time where like I would just have like in extreme nightmares, and I don't really know why, but well, I know why because it's in my subconscious as well. But yeah, and those nightmares would wake me up, like, and they would happen for I don't even know how long. But it's weird because it's like there's no like what sucks about it is that like I look around, there's like no threat, I guess I'm just like a highly stressed out person or something, highly anxious maybe. Um, and I think that I'll talk about like the rest of my physical, like deficiencies, if you want to say, because of stress. But I've noticed my eye bags because of sleep and just stress. My eye bags. It's been harder to lose weight. Weight gain has kind of been a thing as well, and yeah, that shit kind of sucks. I've noticed it. Oh, my nose is constantly stuffy. Now I don't know if this is all stress or if this is some other physical thing, but I've noticed that all of this really has picked up when I started to get a lot of chronic and constant stress. Because like when I was younger and I wasn't as stressed out, I don't know, my health was like a lot better. And why I even say this is because like I've been working on my health and I'm changing my diet and all those things. When you work on your health, it does help with your stress, but I've changed my diet and um, I've been eating a lot better. I've been exercising a lot more and not just going to the gym to lift weights, but I've been playing soccer more, so I've been running, doing the things I like to do, and I've been seeing friends. So, like, my stress definitely has helped, but like, I'm I still see that it's hard to sleep because of the constant stress, And I'm not just like when I say stress to like whoever's watching, like I don't mean like oh just like freaking out. I mean like stress as in like a primal instinct way, like that's what I feel. And there's no threat. Like there's no threat, I don't know why, but like I think stress and then leading to like other aspects of my life, like my physical health. I think that a lot of my stress comes from self pressure, self pressure, and then like also the just I think it comes from self pressure, ego, and to constantly perform for myself, and to also like kind of conform to other people, like I'm always worried that I'm being judged all the time, I'm always worried, not as much as now, but like I'm trying to, like, I'm always worried that I'm doing the wrong thing all the time and how people are looking at me. And, like, if, I don't know, like, my parents are great people and they're not really bad to me at all, but I'm always worried if they think that I'm, like, a lazy failure, And I don't know, like, every time I see them and they're looking at me, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what do you think of me? Like, do you think I'm just, like, a lazy piece of shit? Like, I don't know. And I think that all the time. So it's like, I feel like I'm just, like, performing a lot for others, but it's not really in like a care what other people think way. It's just like, I mean, it is, but it's not much as like that because I am myself and I think that I can be authentic and I have a pretty, I guess, individual personality. And I don't say that to say like I'm special, but I think I connect with people on a pretty authentic level. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm fucking wrong, but I don't know. I think it's kind of just like a performing thing, and that just kind of sucks because it's like I don't know, bro. Like I don't want my girlfriend to think I'm a pussy, and I don't want my friends to think I'm a bum, and I don't want my parents to think I'm a lazy piece of shit, and I don't want people to think blah 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 whatever. I want my professors to think I'm constantly smart, and I want people to think that I achieve things, and you know, so it's just like a lot of like external motivation, I guess, and maybe that's because like if I had it my way I wouldn't do anything, but I don't know, I feel like that's not true. I do really wear my passions on my sleeve and I am proud of them, and I'm happy to have them, things that I like and things that I also take interest in the future. wow, this is going to be a long video. So, but yeah, now as kind of a result, as like kind of being aware, and I would say like I've been able to deal with stress a lot better now. And one thing I've realized is that like my in my pursuit of achievement, my pursuit of goals comes with a lot of stress, you know? And even if it's things I like videos that like I've stressed out over videos so much for no reason. And I think that like I think a part of it is definitely like the obsession that I have because I have really bad obsession issues and I'm aware of that. Um so like success and not even success, I don't even want to say success. I just want to say like things that like I'm willing to achieve and like wanting to do, getting a degree, finishing internships, working on videos, working on my storytelling, my skills, just any new pursuit, gym as well, health goals. Um, I've noticed that it comes with an unhealthy obsession, you know, and it becomes from like fun and like the obsession turns from like all right, this is I want to do this all the time because I really have fun with this or I really like this and this is like what I'm like what my trajectory is. And then it's also like an obsession in a self-pressure way where I feel like I'm obsessed because I feel like I need to do this all the time and have my life be perfect and everything. So, you know, this is kind of like a video analyzing myself, I guess. And at the end of the day, this is just what I think about myself. This is what I believe. Whether the story I tell myself about why my health is the way it is, or the stress is this, or whatever, maybe I can be wrong. I do a lot of research on this, but at the end of the day, I'm not a scientist and I don't know everything. So yeah, I've been able to deal with stress a little bit better, especially by taking action. I think that's the biggest thing is like you know, like for me, who's like who overthinks a lot, I think it's very difficult to overthink your way out of something, and it can happen. But you know, just like thought spirals are like you gotta like get up and do something. I was like anxious about something earlier, I forget what, and I just said to myself like, all right, well, I gotta get off the fucking couch because like if I just like, and I went and I did homework. So yeah, homework makes you more anxious, but it didn't make me anxious. I was just doing homework. I just had to do something I had to do, you know. And I think that's kind of my mantra, you know, take action. You know, to change, you change by action. You don't change by just thinking. Go to the gym, and yeah, that's it for this video.